Brett, welcome.
Mate, absolutely pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you.
I always feel like it's a bit. I was about to go, and then you went. I was like,
Yeah, I know. Because I know I've got to, well, this is like if I don't speak, I never get a chance. So I was like, I'm going straight into it.
Already again.
here we go.
I want to start here just before we get into really the guts of it. But we left your podcast on the whole carnivore diet thing, and Anna was showing me Emily's picture of you on.
I was perving on you.
Right. Like, I want to reiterate, you look amazing. Like, it's incredible. So I said I was going to give it a go on Monday because we got carbs to eat after a triathlon.
I was going to tell the truth though.
You said to me, because I was going to check in with you, because you said you were going on a boys' weekend.
He did.
So you didn't start after that?
No.
Okay.
No.
But you're
Which would have been this
Monday,
week.
yeah.
And tell the truth. So why did you not start, baby? What are you waiting for?
We're going to eat carbs.
We're going to eat KFC on Sunday.
Well, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, so, well, at least you know where your priorities lie.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I've got my try, and then I said, I'm eating KFC, and no one can stop me. And so Morgs was like, well, I will participate.
And I'm basing this whole thing off three people: you, Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going with. But I'm just more curious than anything.
Yeah. Well, mate, look, it's
You look
firstly,
so good, though.
Yeah. Well, I did a count back the other day. Because, funnily enough, someone in my team also, she goes, I don't know how ripped you were until I seen Emily's Instagram.
Yes, that's probably the same one.
Because I'm like, I suppose I've been, there's a difference of wearing a T-shirt, you can see sort of an outline of someone, but then when you got a singlet, you go, oh, okay, I can actually see some definition. But I did a count back because I was like, how long have I actually been training?
Yeah.
Like, when I say training, I mean, when did I light the fire up underneath my butt again to do something about? That's exactly what it is. Because pre that, so it was about 2 weeks into COVID.
Yeah.
So it was about 2 weeks into COVID. I started going, you know what? I was training on our balcony. I was like, okay, I'm starting to get back into it because there wasn't a lot to do, obviously.
Yeah.
And then we were training in the basement. And you guys know Emily. She's super fit. She's been holding the baton of fitness and health and everything for us over the last few years.
That's
Because I started in the health and fitness space, 13 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And that was a passion. It was a business. It was something that I was super dedicated to, and I think I just got burnt out.
Yeah.
And building businesses and doing a whole heap of other things externally to that, I just lost my entire passion for fitness, for training, and for eating.
Yeah.
Like I say, first and foremost, I eat to live. I don't live to eat.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of people. Oh no, I can't.
Foodies.
Yeah. But guess what? I like food too.
Yeah.
I like going out. I like having a nice meal.
Yeah.
But if you change the way in which you look at food and what its purpose is, the outcome can drastically change. So for me, it started with fitness, with the training, because I was like, I just got to get back into it.
Yeah.
I've done the box. I tried boxing.
Yeah.
I go through cycles. Right. I'm like, cool. I'm going to hit the boxing bag for 6 weeks, 12 weeks, and then I'm like, I'll do F45, and now I'm going to do high intensity training.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to do strength training. I was like, I needed something that I can consistently stick at. So it was going back to basics with weight training for me was the thing that sort of kickstarted, because the carnivore thing I'm up to about 10. I think I'm 10 weeks in now.
Yeah.
So that's sort of something that came a bit later because I've been training for the last 4 months. And when I realised, it wasn't until a couple of days ago that, like, when you go through your own transition yourself mentally, where you're like, I feel like I've gotten through the first stage.
Yeah.
Right.
Transition.
So like, the hardest part about exercising when you get back into exercising is, how long is it going to take until I'm happy with where I'm sort of back at again?
Yeah.
Until I can start to see some really tangible results.
Yeah.
And it's not until you get comments and you get people saying these things and you actually can look at yourself and go, oh, actually, no,
That lights the fire.
yourself.
Like I jokingly said to a couple of mates, I was like, I'm at that point now where, and take this for what it is, but I'm sure you'd be able to understand that it's not coming from a place of ego or nothing. It was like when I started seeing again in the mirror when I was training in the gym, I was like, oh my God, I'm starting to get it back.
Yeah.
That was the reason why I wanted to go back to the gym so I could look at myself in the mirror again.
I love that.
Right?
Nothing wrong with that, though. I remember when I lost like 30 kilos, the sense of pride.
You've still lost it.
Yeah. But the initial, the sense of pride I'd have around people who hadn't seen me in a long time, when you go to a party or something like that, and the look on their face.
Where's Morgs?
You're like, So I think, then it's getting that validation from other people that the work you're putting in starting to pay off, and that's what keeps you going.
And that's the hardest part. I was at the gym last night and I wanted to jump on social media and type something out. I have so many good posts in my head and I just don't push through with it. But I just feel so many people are never ever going to get the results that they want because they're just not working hard enough, right?
Yeah.
Take this from a physical perspective, take this from a business perspective, take this from a relationship perspective. The principle applies, right? I'm at the gym and I'm seeing people just doing some really light exercise, light movements, and you're like, oh, fuck, I almost feel like going up to them and go, hey man, I want to save you some time. Either you need to really change the way you're working out, or you're not going to get nothing in about 6 weeks, you're going to be back to, this is bullshit, the gym doesn't work for me, right?
The gym's relying on those people.
Well, of course it is, right? But here's the reality. I was being that guy pre this sort of next kickstart, right? That I guess the new lease of life that I'll call it, and it does take a while. For me, it took probably took about 10 to 12 weeks to get the buzz of, like, I'm looking forward to going to the gym tonight.
Yeah.
But I haven't looked forward to go to the gym for a long time.
Yeah.
It just felt like a job.
I feel like because Morgsy, obviously I had my sprint try on Sunday, and you've been such an amazing sport because you do the training with me other than the swimming. So do you feel like I feel like you like the running and the biking at the moment?
We can run like sort of 4 or 5 Ks before you can get to the gym. So by the time I get into the gym, I'm the sweetest guy in the gym.
We are disgusting.
Everyone looks at us. This guy's got plastic metabolism. Just walks on.
Pretty much.
We are those people right now.
I don't know, it's just that change.
I'm excited for you.
I enjoy training with Emily. Yeah. That's good fun. And actually, because I had like...
And you need a push, though. That's the other thing.
She's good at, right?
Everyone needs a push.
Yeah, and I'm uncovered shit, and a lot of the stuff that she is patient, so it's good. But,
wait, to give it context, Brett's wife, Emily, is our PT.
So,
successful superstars.
But she's really good, and she's helped me a lot. I wanted to do get a booty going, but all the exercises are
get a booty going. That's true. I wanted to grow my peach, and Emily was my girl.
Yeah. But it's been great for me because all that stuff just helps strengthen my lower back because I used to have really bad lower back problems. So it's
and now he doesn't complain, and it's amazing. All right, so let's stay here though, fitness, because I just saw a status. So I'm so excited to have you here because you are like to us.
Yeah, Brett's more than a fitness guy.
You are, He's more than just.
He's more than a carnivore diet guy.
Than eating meat.
You
are the meat guy. No, but you are a wildly successful entrepreneur. You have Claxon. Is it Claxton or Claxon?
Claxon.
Claxon.
The amount of times, though, I'll tell you what, when we rebranded, I never thought of Claxton as an alternative. The amount of times that people say that it's Claxton.
Yeah, I don't even
know. Like, it doesn't even say that. Like, there's no T written in it, but people just read it. Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, I think I'm over it.
I didn't know what a Claxon was until you told me what it was.
Yeah.
Well, Claxon is a trumpet.
Well, it's a loud electric siren is the
which makes sense
terminology of the word Claxon. But yeah, so we're a digital growth agency, and what we do is we partner with businesses and brands to design and deliver bespoke digital growth strategies to grow and scale their business.
Yeah.
Right? How many times do you reckon I've said that before?
Even
when I was saying, I was like, this sounds like I've said this before.
Am I pitching?
But case in point is the connection between that and why the name's really important. When it comes to business, I think naming convention is one of the key variables, but it's like, what does it actually mean as well? So,
but what I love, there's so much I want to unpack today because I'm like, we were just listening to a podcast before as well with your original mentor, and I want to go here, but I want to go everywhere first. But you were saying how you think, and this is what we've been saying, how COVID has, I can't remember how you said it, but you were like, COVID has literally shone a light or ripped apart people's businesses, but positively in a sense. Like you've had to look at if you are doing things that you love. So I want to go into business, but before we do that, because we were just talking how you were just off camera, you were saying how what was your first car when you moved here?
Holden Chimera, 1986.
Yeah.
My dad had a maroon one.
It ran on 3 cylinders, one wasn't working. And my driver's window, which was a wind-down window, didn't work. I had to pull it up.
Most kids.
So you wouldn't even know what a wind-down window
kids these days, they know what
the
I've heard stories about kids getting into friends' cars that have like the old windy window.
Like, what is
this?
Yeah. But what did you, and it's not about this, but I just want to, I want the visual for people that are listening. What was the car you just pulled up in?
A Porsche Cayman 718.
So sexy.
Yeah. Nice car.
So you've come a long way.
Get rid of the kids. We got the SUV.
Well, they've got the Porsche SUV, don't you? Emily's got the Porsche.
Set your goals high, mate. Set your goals high.
But this is such a powerful thing. This is what I want people to understand. I think because it's not about the things, but it's about, I believe money rewards the freedoms in life for things that we want to achieve. So you've come all this way, but it did start with fitness, which we started with, which you were burnt out with, but you just sold Fit, which was your original business. Was that number one? Like, take us back there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the evolution of it was, when you say Fit was sort of the first thing, or the fitness space was the first thing, I got kicked out of high school and I actually became a cabinet maker. So I come from a really small town.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but came from a really small town called Huntley, right? So there's a couple of thousand people, very low socioeconomic area. I grew up, my mother was on the benefit, looking after my sister and me. And
this is New Zealand?
This is in New Zealand, yeah. And kicked out of high school, had nothing else to do. There was an apprenticeship going, so I became a cabinet maker. But something that I instilled from day one, which, as I go back and I always talk about this sort of journey, the evolution of it, was from day one I walked into that factory and I said to the boss, I was like, who's the best person in this factory? I was like, who's the best?
How old were you?
16.
Yeah.
So I walked into that business going, how do I own it?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
That was my mindset. But first of all, I was like, well, who's the best first? Because I want to learn from the best.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, there's a guy called Baz. He's the best. And I said, where's Baz? He goes, down the back corner. And I said, cool, well, I'll go and learn from Baz. He goes, no, you won't. I was like, oh, why not? He goes, Baz doesn't like apprentices. Because apprentices fuck stuff up. Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
And Baz is legit. He's like, okay, I can have another apprentice, mess with my stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, who's second best?
Yeah.
And he goes, Ty or George, go and learn from one of them. So when I was learning from either. But when you first started as an apprentice, you're a broom technician, right? So I was sweeping floors.
Yeah.
I was the best at sweeping floors.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Best at sweeping floors. Who do you think had the best, tidiest, clean area in the whole factory? Baz did. Why?
Yeah.
Because I cleaned it.
Yeah.
I went out of my way, even to the point where he almost punched me one day because I cleaned it. Like, his floor was so clean that it was almost shiny. Like the timber platform that he had down was almost shiny and he slipped over.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So where the fuck are you? I told you not to clean my fucking... But I was like, well, look.
Sorry, Baz.
Yeah. But I consistently, again, I was told no. I was like, don't go to Baz. But I did everything I possibly could to try and go to Baz. Every day I'd be like, hey, Baz, got any jobs for me? He's like, no. Next day, hey, Baz, got any jobs for me? He's like, no. Until the point where it's like literally every day for about a month or so. got any jobs for me? He's like, if you fucking ask me one more time, you know, like, and this was back in the day we could hit your work.
You could like,
That's something fucking knows. I'm not giving you right. Okay.
you could like give your apprentices like a hard time at hazing.
I was like, where's my safe space? Yeah. I mean, geez, the amount of times I'm still walking around the factory trying to find the left-hand screwdriver that told me to go find, right? But, and then one day I heard my name being yelled out and Baz goes, Brett. I'm like, whew. So I literally I flew over to Baz and he goes, you want to make these drawers? So as a cabinet maker, we're building kitchens.
Yeah.
Right. And apprentice's job was to build the drawers first. So a box, basically. Put a bottom on it and some drawer runners to make sure it goes in and out of the cabinet.
Yeah.
And I said, I can build the drawers. He goes, you sure? If you fuck it up, that's it.
Yeah.
And, how long had you been there?
Literally maybe three to 4 months. Okay. I was very fresh. Yeah. Apprentices don't pick up tools till the first year, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even have my own tools except for the broom. That wasn't even mine. It wasn't even mine. Yeah, but it wasn't even mine anyway. And then, so I went away. I set up my workbench and get started. And my boss comes out of the factory, out of the main office area, the air-conditioned area, mind you. We're in a hot, sweaty, dusty factory. Yeah. And he goes, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, you won't believe it, I'm building Baz's drawers. He's like, what the fuck? Like, how was... And he walked over to Baz and I seen them talking, they were talking away. And then the boss went away and I took the drawers back to Baz's workbench. I said, here you go, Baz, what do you reckon? Picks up the drawers. He's like, just checking every corner to make sure that there's no overlap of the bottom of the drawer and that it's square and not bloody triangle, right? Yeah. And he picks it up, he goes, actually, this is pretty good.
Yeah, right.
He goes, this is pretty good. He goes, how'd you learn how to do that? And I said, do you really want to know? He goes, well, of course I fucking want to know. I want to know. Okay. I was just like, learning clearly. You want to know? Yeah. And I said to him, here's how I learned. So in between sweeping the floors, what I'd do is I'd go out and hide in the big scrap bin. I'd take one of the tradesman's battery drill and I'd go out in the bin. I'd be sitting in a bin and I'd be drilling and practicing how to drill straight and line up pieces of timber so that when I got my opportunity to make some drawers, I wouldn't fuck it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I put in the hours. I'd sit there, even after work, when everyone had gone, and there might be one more person still working, I'm still there practicing.
Yeah.
Because I was waiting. Because the only things you can really do to fuck up a drawer is not drill straight, right, and put a screw through the side of it, which wrecks it because then they have to go cut the whole new piece. And back in the day, there was no machines that did this. It was all manual, right? So it'd be a big stuff up.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I know I'm going to get a shot to do this, and I want to be the best in this factory, so I'm going to do what I think I need to do to be the best.
Yeah.
And I put in the work before I got the opportunity. So when I was ready for game day, you were good to go. I was there. And then Baz goes, take that trolley, go and build an entire cabinet. Yeah. You know, fast forward that, and the reason why I share this is because I think there's an overarching message to all of this is, I got signed off my apprenticeship. It was supposed to be a 4-year apprenticeship, right? 8,000 hours is the standard term. Yeah. I was signed off in just under 3 years.
Yeah, wow.
Because I pushed and pursued and pursued it. They didn't come to me and go, hey, do you want to be signed off early? No fucking way. I pushed it and pushed it and pushed it to the point where they're like, okay, we'd be stupid not to do this. Yeah. But it was because I was ready and I was prepared, right? But to your initial question, I think it's always good to preface that.
Absolutely.
But I was at a point where I was cabinet maker for 5-6 years. I got to a point where I was literally the best behind Baz. I'd never be better than Baz. He was literally the fucking gold standard. Yeah. But it doesn't matter because I was earning more money than Baz. Yeah. Right. Because I was a bit smarter in the way that I dealt and made deals with the bosses. Yeah. Right. Another lesson within that is negotiate for what you feel you're worth. Yeah.
We could unpack that for an hour. It's my favourite thing to talk about.
Yeah, it's true. Happy to go wherever you want with this. But I felt inside that there was just something more. Because it got to a point where they were grooming me, the bosses, to own the factory. Wow. And I was like, this is what I want. I actually don't think I want to own this. You've only got to hold an HSV and, you got a couple of houses and this and that. And I was like, but I think I want more from life than that. Yeah. Like, that was my mindset, right? And I was like, I don't think I want to stick around here and do this. So I took a massive leap and I, at high school I was good at 3 things. I was good at woodwork, I was good at physical education, and I was good at lunch. I wasn't going to get paid to eat.
Pot, wagging, surfing.
It's a career or something.
Well, now it could be. You could be the new tester for the legalised of cannabis. But so I wasn't going to go and get paid to eat. I'd already tried the woodwork thing, so it didn't seem like the next best thing for me, right? And then I decided to go to university and study to get a Bachelor of Sport and Leisure. I was like 2 weeks into that and I thought, what a fucking joke this is. Literally, I went from working like 50 hours, 60 hours a week to turning up to 1-2 hour tutor every day. I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah. So I had a gap year basically. Yeah, right. And then at the end of that, I was like, I'm not going back to fucking university. Yeah. I was over here in Australia at Christmas at the end of the first year of university and I Googled online, I'm like, how to become a personal trainer fast. Yeah. Because all I wanted to do was to be a personal trainer, right? Yeah. That was why I was doing a degree. True. Yeah. And I was like, why do I have to go do a 4-year degree? Because I'd already learned this from the apprenticeship, right? It was like such a long, laborious timeline. Yeah. One thing that you'll understand with me very quickly is I'm always looking to achieve something in the fastest, shortest possible time. Yeah. Not at a detriment to the success of it.
But let me say, knowing you're the best at what you do in all you do. So it's not to...
Yeah, I don't want to cut corners because people can get that misguided.
You want to excel.
Yeah, if there's a shortcut, I will find it. I will always pursue. I'm like water. Yeah. I will fucking find a gap anywhere. Even if you can't see it, I'll find the gap, right? And I Googled how to become a personal trainer fast. And it was like fast personal training courses. Have you qualified in X amount of time? I'm like, bang, signed up, boom. Next thing I knew, at the end of my Christmas holiday, I was supposed to go back to New Zealand and go to uni again. I was like, I'm packing up, I'm leaving. I rented out my house. So I came over here, started a brand new life. I was working in the gym before my uni mates were back for the second year.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
But from there, that was sort of my evolution into what I call entrepreneurship, because it was the first time I was ever my own boss.
Yeah.
I got
Your
to decide
apprenticeship.
what I wanted to do. Yeah, I was doing my own apprenticeship in entrepreneurship. I was just like, how do I fucking do this?
Yeah.
What's this all about? And that's where the stumbling and
where
came from.
Where do you think like this this desire to excel, like, you know, like you mentioned, like your first day on the job, you asked who the best guy was, it was Baz, he told you to fuck off, but like you obviously that drive to sort of want to pursue and excel, even in something like cabinet making, and which you then take on to other things. Where do you think it came from? Was it something that you were born with, or was it like the whole nature versus nurture thing?
Ever since I can remember, I've always wanted to be doing my best.
Yeah.
Like, and even to the point where, like, I would have competitions with my friends to go, okay, let's see who can punt the ball the furthest.
Yeah.
Let's see who can drop kick it the highest. Let's see who can, and it's not because I just want to be the best.
Yeah.
Although I do want to be the best, but I want to be the best that I can be.
Yeah.
Like, I love it when I come up against people and they beat me at something.
Yeah.
I love that, because that's like, stuff that I know.
That's a competitive nature though as well.
Well, absolutely, and it's that, especially when it's something I love, because it's like, I really want to improve in that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just this innate, I truly feel, and I've connected with it deeply over the last 6 years especially, is that, life is absolutely way too short, and I think that we should all be trying to do our absolute best in whatever it is that we're doing. Because why would you not? Like, why would you
100%.
not want to do the best?
But I think, and that's
I think a lot of people are doing stuff that they don't enjoy.
That's a fucking given.
I think that's why people probably like, fuck it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they just rock up.
When I wrote my book, I sent out a survey. We had about 5,000, close to 5,000 people complete a survey, right? Which is a lot of data.
I was like, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. Yeah, government data, they don't get that sort of...
No.
So just because we had a big database, right? And literally, a combination of... One of the questions was like, are you happy in your current job? It's like, no, yes, I hate it. If I have to turn up here one more day, so it was quite severe.
Yeah.
Over 80% of people had a negative response to it.
Yeah.
I mean, and we don't need a survey to identify that, right?
But powerful, you've got the data.
Well, yeah, the data, be able to go, well, the data says
The actual data says.
But the fact is that people are, and back to your original point around the whole now, I truly believe COVID has shone a spotlight onto everything and everyone and said, hey, here's you got a few decisions to make here. What's life going to be like for you moving forward? Do you want to stay in that job that you're currently in? Do you want to stay in that business that you're currently in? Or is there something else that you might want to do?
Yeah.
Well, we did a whole podcast on this saying, like, because 2020, so it's the year of 2020, but 2020 is perfect vision. So that's the whole, you've got 2020 eyesight. So we did this whole thing around, like, what if...
It's quite philosophical, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It is.
But I said, I was like, what if 2020 was actually the year that you gained perfect insight into who you wanted to become, what you wanted to do, and I just think that even though businesses are, there's a lot of negativity and
but
despair,
guess what? There's businesses
so much
failing
hope.
all the time outside of COVID.
It's like there's so much
There's
hope.
just a spotlight on everything. It feels like we're living in a time right now where everything is so intense.
Yeah.
Like this, you look at politically, just everything seems so intense.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, people are losing their jobs. Yes, people are going out of business, but that hasn't changed. Now, mate, of course, there's a growth curve of leaning. Yeah, there's a lot more people going out of business and so forth.
Sure.
But the reality is
Now we're going to go that way
they
anyway.
probably most likely would have, or if anything, if they're being truly honest to themselves,
Yeah.
a lot of them be like, you know what, it was a slog anyway, and it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm better off suited as a number 3 at another job instead of owning my own, because it's not easy to own your own business, man.
Yeah.
No.
It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, look, when we were in your office the other day, it was like, there's staff, there's
It was like
people
mini
everywhere.
Google.
It was like mini Google. It's like,
This is like Gold Coast Google. But we asked, I said, how many staff do you have? And you're like, too fucking many.
It feels like 100.
Yeah.
But we get around that 30-ish market sort of hovering around. Like we've had, I look at COVID and I go, let's not discount all the bad things that have happened.
Sure.
But for me personally, when you say the whole 2020 vision concept, I mean, for me, I needed this to shake my foundations and recalibrate every area of my life. One, my health, which is nothing more important than your health.
100%.
We talk about it all the time. Yet we'll go out and we'll fuck ourselves up tonight eating some bad food, right?
Shots of tequila.
But it's it's a conversation that I don't feel it gets the justification it really deserves.
Yeah.
Because it's a throwaway. It's just like, I heard, eat good food and eat clean, and your body's really important. Of course, our body's really important. But it's like, when you actually stop and think about it, there's nothing more important than your physical body. Because without it, you can't have this beautiful spiritual thing that we're having right now, because your body's going to be kaput.
Well, even if you've got $1 billion in the bank, but your body's fucked, it's like, what are you going to do with that? You can't buy. You can to a certain extent, but you can't buy.
No, you can't.
Well,
you can't buy life. And this is what we always. I love this conversation because this is my number one highest value, non-negotiable. No one can touch me with is health. It's just like you don't get access to me until I am like moved, eaten, smoothie, done all the things, feel well and thriving, and then you'll get me. It's then I'll podcast, then I jump on calls.
See, that wasn't my number one value.
Yeah.
It's been in the back. It's been in the top 5.
Yeah.
It's not
It's been in the top 5.
Yeah.
Right, but and there's no. surprise as to, I could look at someone and sit down with someone, and so could you guys, sit down with someone for like 60 seconds, ask a couple of key questions, and you'll be able to uncover what they truly value in their life.
Wow.
I mean, you just need a couple of key indicators. Go into their bedroom, look at what's next to their bed, their bedside table.
Books, I think.
There you go, right? So there's an indicator there. So, okay, what books are you reading about right now? So the value is like you value education.
Yeah.
Clearly, education is a high priority, a high value in your life. Here's where I always, because I have another company which I'm going to rebirth, I feel.
Was this what you were
Unleash
doing?
your
We're
greatness.
listening to a podcast of yours with your mentor.
And you said you had a
said
secret
project you can't
was
talk about.
Was that this?
No. I don't think it is. There might be another one.
Oh.
But this one in itself, because a few years ago I had a death of a really close friend of mine, and that was the thing that I was like, oh, life's too short.
Yeah.
Right. Which started this. I was always, once you get the personal development bug,
Yeah.
you're just hooked on it. Right. It's just so transformable. It's like nothing. It's like watching the best ever movie that you could ever watch, and you want to go and share it with everyone.
Yeah.
So I went on this journey. And uncovered who I truly was, what I really want to do on this planet, what lights me up the most, all of that stuff. And I created a business called Unleash Your Greatness. But I put that to bed pre-starting the agency, right?
Yeah.
So I had it going for about 2 years. So we'd run live events, we'd do overseas retreats.
Because you did a lot of coaching with
The Entourage.
the Entourage.
Yeah, so that's probably more business focused, even though a lot of it's personal focused, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not your business problem, we're the problem, right?
Yeah.
But I made a decision to put that on ice and focus on building Claxon to getting it to a point where it no longer needs me.
Yeah.
And now this Unleash Your Greatness thing, I don't think there's any better time for it to really start to come back into the limelight. So I'm going to be, I'm actually planning on sitting down and looking at that and what the new evolution of that looks like. But it's the, and part of why I bring that up is finding out what people's, because values is a huge indicator on how you live your life and the
100%.
outcome you're going to get with what you do with your life, right? So, I have a workshop with inside of that where we uncover how do we actually find our own personal vision, mission, values, and what does it mean, and what's
So
the
good.
outcome of that. And a lot of people will be like, if I say family, where does family say, oh, yeah, that's number one.
Mine's actually quite low. Family's like,
It's not low,
it's like fifth or thing. Yeah, but
It's not.
But, and do you know what?
But see, that's okay though. And this is my
100%.
point.
Yeah.
This is my point. It's
Yeah.
like I had, when I first uncovered what values were, and I realised how low family was on mine, I had almost a breakdown. I was like, oh my God, this isn't
I'm a
right.
terrible person.
How can this be? Yeah, I'm a shit fucking father. I'm a shit brother. Not a father, I'm going to be.
Yeah.
I was the best father. I'm not going to be shit. But, I was like, oh my God, I haven't called my mum in like a month. What type of person am I? Da, 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 da.
My mum will listen to this and she'll be like, because that's me.
This will be my mum too.
Right, but again, the thing with that, guys, is it's okay to have it it doesn't mean you don't love your family and you don't have an endless connection to that. It's like at the moment there's other things that are, and it doesn't have to be like even that order of hierarchy where it's like there's a percentage weight on each thing, but you could tell what someone values in their life by how they're living. Right? You can tell I value business. Absolutely, because I've got a great business.
Yeah.
Right? You can tell I value nice things because I buy nice things. But I'm wearing a $10 t-shirt and $20 pair of shorts.
Yeah.
Right? Which I'm cool with.
Yeah.
But it's everything has a purpose for each person, and when you can connect to it at the closest vibration possible, that's where everything starts to happen.
Yeah.
This
Can
is so
you see
powerful.
your values around family changing with you becoming
It already
a father?
has, man. Like
Brett's
I've
about to be a dad.
yeah, I have seen a new person within myself already.
Yeah.
Like it's just
In what way?
in a
I'd love
way
to.
that I already feel a love that I've never ever felt.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, I mean, I love my wife, right, to death. I love my mum, I love my family. But there's just something totally different.
Yeah.
Like, even thinking about it gets me emotional.
Yeah,
yeah, I
This
feel
part, I'll zoom in.
But it's the connection, right? Because and to my point there about vibrations, right? Everything works in vibrations.
Yeah.
That's all the universe is. But I've met this vibration that it's just like
Yeah.
whenever even I think about it, I'm just like, wow, that's bliss to me. Like, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
See, this is the thing,
goosebumps.
People have talked to me about this, like other men and stuff, about having a kid, and it's such a foreign concept to me because I think I'm extremely selfish. Like for the longest time,
Everyone's
it's just been
selfish.
Anna and I. And so it's for me, it's a difficult concept for me to understand.
I think
it's like it's bad or anything. I'm just like talking about.
I think you're.
Until it happens, dude. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
you're just like, fuck, none of that matters.
Yeah. Right. I mean, at this moment, I'm sure
Yeah.
if we found out tomorrow that Hannah was pregnant, it would probably change.
I'm not.
Surprise!
On the record, I am not pregnant. No, but that's beautiful. And no, but I think this piece around, and I hope that you do rebirth that, because I think I know all the podcasts I've been listening to, even the direction that I'm going to do this whole thing around a self-love school, and I just think it's calling for integral leaders to stand up in the space, even though there's lots. I think ones with integrity who walk their talk, who really have so much to offer the space, which is who you are and what you do. Like, it's so required. That is exactly what I said. 2020 has like ignited the fire in the people that it needed to step back into this space. Because even talking about this thing around values, like when I identified family, for example, was low, I was like, but this is the power of owning values. I was fine. I was like, wow. It doesn't make you a bad person. And when I ask other women, I say, well, what's your top 3 values? Family, number 1. My kids. I'm like, it's probably not. It might not be. Let's look at, I always say, show me your bank account and I'll show you your values. So mine's like books, seminars, you know, all the things.
I get people to do a time exercise. So
Yes,
break out your entire week, break it down into half-an-hour segments, and let's see where you spend your time.
Yeah.
Then you will see where you really lie.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
when health business.
And then here's the point, though, is let's say you identify, you're like, oh, wow, that was an interesting identification. So I do this every quarter. Right? So I go through all
For
my
yourself?
values, for my
Yeah.
personally.
Okay.
So through every value, even breaking it down from a familial perspective to each key person in my family, how I feel our relationship's been over the last period. And here's where I think the important thing is once you identify, right, is then you need to ask yourself, am I okay with that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I okay with that, or has that caused a tectonic shift in your brain that you are not living in accordance to what you want? Because that's the thing. It's about identifying what you perceive. So generally I'll get people to write down, what are your core values? Let's list them down in order that you think they are of importance, and you'll go down. And then we'll go through actual exercise, and you'll quickly identify whether or not you're living upside down and you're not living in accordance to your highest values, right? Because we'll do the time exercise. We'll be like, holy shit, family is my most important, but I've identified in my week that, yes, I'm spending time with my family, but I'm running around, dropping them at football and this and that. It's like, where's your quality time with your family? Oh, my God, we've got zero quality time because I'm too busy doing X, Y, Z and trying to fit in other things, right?
Yeah.
But when you can uncover and go, well, am I okay with that? If not, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
And it's okay, just re-engineer your next week and go, where am I going to plug in? So I think every person should run off a Google Calendar in my perspective, right?
Our calendar.
Well, I mean, let's not get caught on the...
Mate, like, we're Apple people.
Well, I'm an Apple person too, but I'll tell you what, just like the Carnivore Diet, mate, Google Calendar wipes...
I've just switched.
Do you use your phone?
I've just switched.
Do you use your phone?
Yeah.
I'm just going to show you the difference. This is like, seriously.
Yeah, I've just switched.
Guys, this could be life-changing for us.
This is colour coordination like that.
Yeah, no, I do all that.
But not with your Apple one.
It's not separate calendars. Like one for home, one for work.
Oh, that's just too...
Reddit's work.
Put that back to drawing board. Sorry, Google, I tried.
No, I'm a Gmail. I just switched to Gmail. It's amazing. Best thing I've ever done.
But I understand. And I always say as well, like if it's not scheduled, it's not done. So people say, how do you find the time for you? I'm like,
Make the time.
it's scheduled. PT is in that red. Emily's red.
Yep.
Like PT is in there. Book is in there. Like just things are in there for me. I've scheduled. I know it sounds bad, but it's not for me. But like I know on Thursday at 12:30, I'm calling my mum because that is
that's
important
great.
to me.
That's not
So
bad
I'm
at all. Don't
like,
even
I
think that.
schedule those things. It's not, and people go, but don't you like spontaneity? I'm like, spontaneity is scheduled.
Well, you go, how spontaneity you gotten you so far?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so...
The freedom is in the discipline.
But the thing is, it's dynamic. It's not set in stone. Like if you need to change things.
Yeah, if I need to call my mum, I'm going to call my
things.
mum.
Yeah.
But no, I love this.
Yeah.
So would you say then that like, I would say, but would you say that being this individual, like so values focused, and because you were very successful, Brett, like we've been into your office, we were like, this is Gold Coast Google. Like you are, and you guys thrive through COVID, really. So, and lots of businesses have failed where we went in and you guys were pumping. So would you say that living from this center, like what would be the number one focus for a budding entrepreneur, an established entrepreneur? Like what's the things that you would tell them to focus on first before they then focus on their business? Before the marketing, cost, agenda?
Well, this is where I spend a lot of my time talking to other business owners or aspiring business owners, is getting clear on what they actually want to be doing and why. Like, there's nothing more important. I had a chat before I came over here. There was some this lady, she has an agency, right? She runs an agency. Her and she's just got a couple of subcontractors. So she's been doing a couple of years, right? She's got a Facebook advertising course as well. And if you are listening to this by any chance, there's some lessons in this, and I don't want to sort of try and make it sound like it's a bad thing, but I'm going to call it what it is. Here was a girl who was trying, right? She's trying.
Yeah.
Firstly, trying a lot of different things, right? And getting success in none of them, right? So she jumps on, she's like, she was asking me for advice on what she generally would be giving advice to other businesses to do, right?
Yep.
So it's like, how do I do this? How do I grow this? How do I get more lead? I'm like, isn't that what you teach or you're teaching? Like, I mean, there's got to be a level of integrity within it, right? However, I get it because I was the guy who wanted to be a coach before I even knew what I was fucking coaching.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said to one of my first mentors, I said, I want to coach people how to build a fitness business, and I'd literally just picked up my first 3 clients.
Yeah.
He's like, mate, you don't know how to fucking build a business. I said, yeah, I do. I'll show you. So I built the fastest growing fitness franchise in Australia. I literally said that to him.
Brett did do that. So Brett and Emily built the fastest growing franchise. This is what I want you to understand.
Can I say, I think you would be an anomaly in that situation.
Yeah, I am.
Totally. Because there's a lot of
for you?
people that have that same, I want to be a coach. I'm a business coach. I just finished university.
Yeah.
Here's how you set up a business, blah, but it's like they've never
Owned a
been out.
business.
They've never even set up an ABN.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, exactly. And here's the reason, because we can do these things so easily now. Like it's so easy to put a post out on Facebook and claim a stake in the land and go, I am this, or I'm going to be doing this. Hey, and you can pick up some low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And this is the Achilles heel, because people pick up low-hanging fruit. They get their 3 to 5 customers, and then they're like, fuck, how do I get more?
Yeah.
Right. But my point around this girl was, she literally how she said it to me, not verbatim, but in these words was, so I'm doing the content marketing, I'm doing the page posting, and I've also got my course. Which one do you think I should do?
Do as in
Like, continue on. She's like, I'm confused. Which one should I do? And I'm like, well, first and foremost, and if you're a coach, please don't ever fucking tell someone what they should do. I said, first of all, it is not up to me to tell you what to do. That's your decision.
Yeah.
What I can do is help you uncover what you'd probably most likely prefer to do, right? Which I think is where the real value lies. And I said to her, I said, look, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to assume that you're not making any sales of your course.
Yeah.
Right? It was $2,000.
Yeah.
Unknown person in the marketplace, right? And I'm like, the only way you're going to sell a course is by being known in the industry, and you have a database of people and people who know, like, and trust you, and they'll buy whatever it is that you've got.
Yeah.
Or you need to have a really good marketing strategy and sales page and
budget.
and budgeting. And I know that you've got none of that.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah, you're right. I might sell one every 3 months.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And what are you doing with the content, right? And so we broke it all down. But my case in point there was that here was someone who I personally feel that from what I identified, she would be, and I'll open up this other conversation around entrepreneur versus like intrapreneur, okay? And I hate how there's so many different words added to preneur and all of this, and now it's just become a thing. Yeah, I'm going to become a woman. I'm going to become a womanpreneur. I'm going to be a manpreneur. I'm going to be a podcastpreneur. I'm going to be anypreneur, right? But I understand why it's happening. Yeah. But in this case, I feel, and this comes back to the shining a spotlight on people in general with COVID and business owners, entrepreneurs. It's like you don't have to own your own thing by yourself. She would be better working with someone because she's got zero strategic thinking.
Yeah.
And this is what I think lacks in most businesses. They don't have any strategic thinking, right? They will hear something and they might try and implement it
for a bit.
But then what happens? It's like there's no other, what's B, C, D, what are the alternatives? How do we pivot? How do we change?
Yeah.
So when she was explaining that to me, it was just another iteration of going, right now, because here's the other part, we'll talk about this, because I don't think this gets talked about enough either, is I said, so how much money do you want? She goes, lots.
Yeah.
I said, cool, awesome. So how much is lots?
Yeah.
Enough so I can, buy what I want. I'm like, cool, what do you want to buy, right? And yeah, exactly. I'm just like, okay. And then she still didn't answer it. She was avoiding it. And then it was, I just want to have enough money so I can be an awesome mum and provide for my children. I said, well, guess what? My mum provided for me and my sister on the benefit, earning $500 a week. Yeah. And she's like, I was like, you've got to come up with this number. Because if you want to earn $1 million a year, right, in a business, if you're earning $1 million a year, you'd be lucky to maybe take a couple of $100,000 in your own back pocket. Yeah. After it's business and everything and all that stuff. So that realization of, I want to be a millionaire is not fucking that sexy anyway. Right, to be perfectly honest. Unless you're in a really highly profitable business, which there's many out there that can. Sure. But especially in her model, it's not. So it was, you've got to get clear on what your end outcome is because it changes everything. So for us, for when we started Claxon, from day one, it was, I want a $100 million a year company. That was the goal from day one. Yeah. I was like, that is what our evolution is. That's where we're moving to. So everything from day one was predicated around making decisions based at that level.
Yeah, wow.
Right?
So you started, but can I ask then from that entrepreneur perspective then? Because I always think with business, you have to love what you do because it becomes a job even as an entrepreneur, no matter what you do. So you have to love what you do because you're going to eat shit sandwiches. So you have to love what you do, which is what you sort of said. Like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have to tell me what you want to do.
You either have to love the outcome more and tolerate what you have to do. Yeah. Okay. Because I used to think that too. It's like, do that thing that you would wake up every morning and just love and this and that. And it's like, I want to go and fucking live out in Mudgee Bar at the back somewhere on a farm, actually even further out, a helicopter ride away. Yeah. I want to live out in the back, delete all my social media apps and go and take a few years off. Yeah. And just, live without the connection to that. Now, maybe that's because I've been so in the social media bubble for 12, 13 years, right, that I'm like, okay, I'm tapping out now. But to the point where it's like you have to love what you're doing. You have to love the what it is providing for you. Yeah. Right? Because I think there's such a level of, there's only a small amount of people who get to do what they do every day and really love what they're doing.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I think people will, like, you eat a lot of shit sandwiches as an entrepreneur. Like, so it's just about, and there's always problems. There's problems, there's just things that you have to come up against. So yeah, it is.
That's why I get to drive a Porsche.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
I joke, and I don't want to sound like
your first boss was in the aircon and you were busting your ass out.
Correct. I was like, I need an aircon office.
Yes.
So, and I joke around with that because me and a good friend of mine, whenever we connect, so we both own our own companies, and we're always talking about, what's your biggest issue right now? And it's like, it's not something small. It's generally something pretty big and important. And we're like, oh, mate, that's why you get to drive a Maserati. That's why I get the Porsche. Yeah. Like, because we have to deal with those situations. It's the risk versus reward ratio. If you want to drive a Porsche, you'll be prepared to eat some shit, right? Yeah. So it's that, and this comes back to, again, that what does an entrepreneur really need? They need to know where they want to move to as an outcome perspective, but then they also need to know that they've got what it takes. Yeah. Because sometimes you've got to eat a fucking big piece of humble pie. Yeah. And I want more entrepreneurs to do this, is to be able to go, you know what? Well, when I say entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs to do this, that maybe you're better off finding a partner, finding some investors who can strategically help you and grow it. And you're not alone because it's fucking lonely.
It is.
So
share some of the risk.
Absolutely.
Responsibility.
Yep. You're better off to give a piece of something big. Better to own a piece of something big than a whole of something nothing.
Yeah. That's true.
Would you?
It's supposed to be hard finding the right people to do that with.
Yeah. Look, you might have to fucking crash test dummy a few. Yeah. Like, really?
That is business.
You might go, that sucked. Next one, shut that company down. Let's start a new one. But you also might not need to if you do it methodically and you actually think it through. And
I think it's such an important conversation to have though, because I like on this thing of 2020 perfect vision, businesses closing and shutting and all the things. I sincerely believe, and this is what we talked about as well, it is kind of the era of entrepreneurship or side hustles, or people are looking and needing and wanting and desiring more money in their household. And the way they're going to do it, there's not automation, robots are coming in to take over the world. Like, there's all these things that are happening. You becoming an ecosystem in your own household to bring in some form of income is not a luxury anymore. I think it's necessary. And so this is an important conversation to have, to be like, well, know the outcome.
Because you might only want, I want $100,000 a year, right? My first thing, if I was coaching that person personally, I'd be like, why 100? I always challenge, right? Yeah. Why 100? Oh, that'll be. Would you like 200? Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. Cool, thank you. You've just doubled it. How about 500? What would you do with that? Yeah. Oh, this is okay. So all of a sudden, we've just totally changed your outcome. So it's that never settle for your first answer either. Yeah. Right. And this is generally something that there's not many people who are emotionally intelligent enough to even sit down and work the stuff out themselves and come to that outcome. So you need to find someone. You need to hire someone, pay a coach, or someone who actually knows what they're doing, what they're talking about, and really get to the nucleus of it. Because you know when you hit the jackpot, you're like, oh yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Right. So because then I always say to people, I say, would you rather fly? Like if someone sets their goal low, I'll go, would you rather fly like business class or economy?
Yeah. I think
I can do economy. It doesn't bother me. But would you rather like lay down in the plane? Like let's say we're going to America. Would you rather lay down in the plane and get champagne and food and all of that stuff, and or sit in the economy? Okay, yeah, I'll do business. Yeah. Okay, so it's okay. You prefer business over economy?
Yeah.
Cool. So imagine having money where you could all of a sudden go business and not feel like you're losing money.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the same feeling you get when you buy an economy ticket. Imagine if you got that same feeling when you just bought a business ticket, like it was normal.
Yeah.
Would you like that to be your next level of life? Because life, I believe, comes in levels, right? And again, I start from very, very humble beginnings, right? And I'm still nowhere near where I know I can go to and where I'm moving towards. But it's always that pursuit of, like, if there is a nicer thing and I'm attracted to it, and I'm, let's say, for example, like, let's say, so my next car, right?
Yeah.
I probably want to get a Lamborghini, only because I'll probably own it for 6 months, I reckon. Yeah. But I only want it because it's been a childhood thing. I've always said I want a Lamborghini and a Chevy 64 Impala. Yeah. Okay. But I want it because it means something to me.
Yeah.
Right. So and I want to work towards that. And I call them fun tickets. I just need more fun tickets.
Yeah.
Fun tickets
Toys.
is money, right? Toys.
Yeah.
100%.
Isn't it saying like he dies with the most toys wins?
Well, depends on what you're playing. Depends on what you're playing.
It's just to say.
It's the being okay. Because I know when a lot of people sort of hear this stuff and I talk about materialistic things, they're not materialistic things. They're actually really visceral meanings behind each thing. But I just suggest to anyone is, if you can be truly satisfied with you, and not even satisfied, if you could be, to yourself when you're asked I'm trying to get the words here, is instead of settling, there's a difference of when you're settling.
Yep.
Right? I know when I settle, I feel something within me. But if you're okay with settling and not pushing and pursuing to be better, to have more, to give more, right, I feel you're doing yourself a disservice. You're shortcutting your own life and your own potential, because what you do, like I know by just the way I live my life, I'm inspiring other people to live a different life as well.
Yeah,
which is the trickle effect. Like even inspiring my friends when I take real big bold risks in business, and sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. Like even with this Carnivore Diet, and even me with the gym now, I didn't realize how many people actually pay attention to things that I do, right? And you don't need a lot of people. Like I'm even talking just people at our office, right? At our workplace, just me getting back into the gym and start training and having that conversation and doing it. I've noticed that half a dozen of them are now at the gym and they're training this and that. So you don't know who's really watching, whether it's directly or indirectly. And that's why I have another, like internally, I have this real big drive to, I obviously want to help people right at the end of the day, but I've got to help myself first.
Always.
And I know that I like to inspire people. I like people to be inspired by what I've been able to do and achieve, for them to then go and do it as well.
Yeah.
So it's just that hunger to succeed. And
it's leading by example too, as well. I mean, we talked about this a lot in this podcast, is that a lot of people, like coaches and things like that as well, like they'll literally what you said is the cardinal sin, like telling people what they should do rather than leading them to the outcome they want.
Yeah.
I think as a coach, the biggest thing for me, I always say, I never ever want to tell you what to do. I always just want to show you. In the sense, and this is you. So in the sense of like, you're like, the ripple effect. And when you took that, you've started the Carnivore Diet, you are just the living embodiment of being the best that you can be and doing the best that you can with what you've got all the time, but always wanting to grow for yourself to be the best. As a ripple effect of that, it ripples out and you are the embodiment of how you want to live to be the best, but it helps other people. It's that mirror to be like, well, hang on, I'm definitely not, it's not about, well, you have to do this. It's like, so for me, I'm not doing the Carnivore Diet, but I'm excited, for example, like the ripple effect is then, I'm like, yay, okay, awesome, this is going to be a really fun challenge.
You don't have to convince me too hard to stay there. I love it.
Well, I was literally on the drive over here, I was talking to another friend, I just did a bit of a check-in just to see how he's going, and he's like, I'm going to give that fucking Carnivore Diet thing a go too, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've told you to do it.
Yeah.
I have told a lot of people that I
actually, oddly enough, it was funny we're on this topic because it was you leading by example and the outcomes.
I mean, it's the embodiment of...
It made me go, oh, God, I'm fucking interested in that. I'm on board to do it. I'm going to give it a go. My poor old friend, we've got good friends, but they're vegan. I live a couple of houses up.
Vegan AF.
Well, Emily was plant-based.
Yeah.
Right? So lucky she's pregnant now, she's had a little bit of meat. But,
yeah.
And I think that's an important thing as well. Like, because I get a lot of people who go, I can't do it because my partner doesn't eat this or doesn't eat that. So, mate, if something's important to you, sit down with your partner. Because there's a way to everything is making a deal, right? We're always doing deals, whether it's in business or you're doing it with your partner or a friend or the fucking lady at the tuck shop, right? Yeah. You're always doing a deal. There's always a deal to be made. And it all comes from communication and being able to communicate something properly. If you sit down and you do it in the right way, it'll feel weird to start with because no one's really used to doing it like this. It's like, hey, look, do you have a couple of minutes? I'd like to sit down and have a chat with you.
Yeah.
First thing, what the fuck? What do you want to talk about? Like, if you've never had this chat, like,
Am I in trouble?
Something's really important. I just want to chat to you. It's nothing's wrong, but I just want to share something with you.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a couple of minutes. Cool. Let's sit down. Look, I just want to let you know, and you don't go, I'm doing a Carnivore Diet.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know that over the next 30 days I'm going to eat meat. It's like, over the last 3, 6, 9 months, I've been feeling X.
Yeah.
Right?
Start with why.
And I've been struggling a little bit, if this is your story or not, but I've been struggling a little bit. And I just feel like I need something to get me kickstarted again. I want to get back in shape. You know, I owe it to myself and I owe it to you as a partner as well. And I just really want to do something about my health because there's nothing more important obviously than health. Blah, 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 blah. And here's what I'm going to do. So I was listening to, I was talking with someone and they said this.
Yeah.
And I'm really intrigued to that. So what I did was I did a little bit more research, but looking into it. And I'd like to give it a go. Here's what it is. Bang. So I've already prefaced the entire
Well, I think there's a whole thing, and I want to speak to the women in the room for a moment because I am really, you started with this, it's funny we've kind of circled back in a sense because I'm really passionate about negotiation and always asking for a good deal and knowing my worth. And, you know, I remember in the last financial crisis, I was in politics, had left for 6 months, contracted to a mining services camp. Everyone was losing their job. I walked in and asked for a pay rise because I was like, well, you're going to be putting more work on me because you're leaving people off. I want $20,000 more. And they laughed at me, but I was like, this isn't a joke. Like, this is what I'm asking for on the table. And I got 10. So, like, I've always been that woman that, and I'm aware.
Like, I would have got you 20.
I want to go get 30.
I want women to understand, right? So, and then what happened? So, and then recently, and I'm aware that gendered inequality and all those things is still real, just not in my world because I choose it to not be a thing. We could go on a whole thing, but
it's not true.
For women, we disagree because I'm like, no, I know it's out there, but it's because women are too agreeable, and I'm not.
More agreeable.
They're more agreeable.
Yep.
So, but for me, the great example of this, and it's such a powerful thing on teaching people how to, you know, get the deal. It's start with why. Be prepared.
And the biggest part is you have to ask.
But so I'm launching this like whole new thing, like a new company basically for myself or for like coaching and everything. And I went to Morgs because it's an investment. I'm setting up a big website and doing all these things and say it's going to cost X amount, but it's out of our money, right? So I went to Morgs, told him why I wanted to do it. It's funny you said it because I just sat him down. I said, hey, have you got a minute? Like I need to talk about this. I'm really excited and passionate. I want you on board. I need you to understand where I'm sort of going with this. And exactly what you did. I started with why I want to do it. I'd done my research, you know, I think based off of this is going to be the cost price and this is the investment, but this is where I know it can go and this is the thing. And it was like, let's fucking go, baby. It wasn't, but that's quite a big investment. It was just like, and I think if more women did this, sat with their partners and said, well, honey, I want to start a side hustle. Actually, I've had this, you know, this baking business, side hustle, whatever on my mind forever. Understanding the power of negotiation.
It's marketing, right? In general, it's all marketing.
Yeah, but marketing to your...
So you're marketing to your partner. So you need to overcome every objection that your partner might have. So if you've been someone and you've got a track record of stopping and starting and this is your 12th idea, it's like you need to address that before they even go, hey, you've fucking been useless and you ain't done follow through with anything, right? And this is for guys and girls, right? I'm not
Totally.
I know the candle business didn't work out. But this one's a winner.
I know the fidget spinners lasted for so long, but you're like too late to market. But you have to overcome your jigsaw. Hey, look, I realise that I've had a lot of false starts.
Yeah.
And here's why I feel. Blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, the magic of it all, and whether you fuck up the way in which you say it or in the order, and because I believe everyone's saying the right thing, just often at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Right? So if you can, if you can just ask. So I do an exercise where, and I actually did this with one of my team members. I said to him, do you want to know how you can get more? He goes,
Tell me.
Yeah, how? Right? And we went to lunch. I took him to lunch. And I was like, I'm going to ask for a 10% discount. He goes, why? I said, because I can ask.
It's sport too.
It was only like, you know, lunch was $40, so it's like $4 I'm talking here.
Yeah.
But again, it's not the point. Like, why do I fucking barter over a 50-cent hat in Bali?
Yeah.
It's not the point. That's not the point. It's the communication of can my communication get me where I need it to get me, because that's how you're going to get anything in life.
So powerful.
Like communication changes the world, right?
Yeah.
So I said,
talk us through this.
Yeah. So this is what I recommend everyone do.
Yes,
okay. Everyone, go and try it.
Yes.
Because here's what you're going to get faced with. No.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would I do that? No, you can't. But you have to be okay with that. That's that whole eating shit thing, right? Is being able to ask. So I literally ordered lunch, and I said to the lady, I said, excuse me, can you please apply 10% discount to that? She's like, huh? And my employee, I could feel his nerve. He was like, oh, no. It's like, what's going on? This is making me nervous. You imagine being Emily. Like, she sees all this. But I've got some funny stories of that. Yeah. But I said, can you please apply a 10% discount? She goes, what do you mean? I said, can you please apply a 10% discount? You'll quite often have to ask twice because it's a shock. Yeah. But it's a pattern interrupt to someone's mind. And she's like, do you have a discount card? I said, no, I don't. And she's like, okay. Hit the button, gave me a 10% discount. I was like, thank you very much.
I thought you were saying, wow.
And I said to one of my team members, I said, there you go, so you get 10% discount.
Yeah.
He was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What he didn't see was, how many times I've asked that and I don't do it everywhere I go, right? Because I don't, the point's already been made. But the fact that I was able to get a 10% discount like that at a local food place, imagine what else you could get in life if you actually ask.
I've made a switch with this recently because I was like, I picked up that men almost look at negotiation and asking for better for their lives as sport. This is something that I've kind of just like, it's a passion that I watched with Fivor, like men do. So I was like, I want to do this. And so what were the two biggest examples? Recently, my sister was staying in a hotel in Perth and I wanted to send her a bottle of champagne to the room because it was really special. It was her birthday. And I called and they couldn't do it. They were like, no, it's like the best hotel. They were like, no, you have to do this like 24 to 48 hours earlier. And I was like, what's your name? And I just kept asking. I was like, this is really important. But I was negotiating. I said, when my husband and I stay there all the time, blah, blah, and he ended up saying, look, I can't do it. I can't help you pay, but I'm actually just going to send her a free bottle on the house to her room. And I was like, oh my God, like this is amazing. And then I can't remember the other one. There was a huge thing where I just simply asked.
Yep.
I was like, I can't remember, it was a discount or something free. And I just asked and I got it. And I just think but this is something that can be applied.
It was buying this computer.
That's right. I was buying the computer. We got it less. No one would discount it.
No one would discount them because they're apparently in short supply because of COVID.
Sure.
Got 10% off.
We found someone, this guy, and he was just like happy having a chat and stuff. I said, look, man, if you can help us out, what I'll do is if you give me your boss's email address, I'm going to write the best email and recommendation based on your service and all this sort of stuff. So we gave us 10% off.
There's reciprocity, right?
Yeah.
Future reciprocity. You've promised for something and there's something in return. But the beautiful part about it is you're right. Everyone can just ask.
Yeah.
Like, ask for a discount if you want a discount. Ask for another something at dinner if it's available. Just ask.
Well, I always say to people, you're not asking for somebody's newborn or asking for them to get a tattoo.
Well, I think a lot of times people's ego get in the way because, I don't want to look like a cheapskate.
Well, that's the other part. It's like, I'm definitely not a cheapskate.
If they really can't afford it, they're like, oh,
yeah. So, I mean, even at the very least, asking for upgrades at hotels.
Yeah.
And whenever you're traveling, always ask for a better seat. I mean, there's a stock standard one.
Wait, this is a great system. You just slip a 50 inside your passport.
Well, I did that in Bali, right? So when we arrived in Bali, and this is one of the examples where Emily's like, at first she's disgusted, but then when it pays off, she's like, so there was literally like a 2-hour line and all the planes all docked at the same time in Bali airport, and I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, follow me. Like I always do. I was like, just follow me and just play my lead. Don't say a word. Just let me, and don't let it get awkward because I'll tap out when I know it's time to tap out. Like I'll pull the ripcord when I know it's time.
Yeah.
So it's going to probably go to an uncomfortable, point sometimes.
Yeah.
But this time I was like seeing all these people, and this feeds into the don't ever just follow what other people are doing. Mm-hmm. Okay, live your own path and follow your own lead, right? Yeah. And be okay with it being wrong. So I literally walked down the Indonesian aisle where no one was. Walked up to the counter. I probably shouldn't admit this on air, but I bribed a government official. I gave him my passport and a $20 note.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
And then I walked through, and then
why is this Indonesian?
And then I seen like a swarm of people at the line right at the back come almost running down to because they were like, oh, I'm following him. But they don't know if I can probably bribe him. Yeah. But case in point, right, is I could have sat there for 2 hours and go, no, I'm going to line up, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to go down here. So I said to a friend once, and he goes, that's one of the best lines he's ever heard when it comes to why I work so hard. Right, is I earn money so I can skip the queue or have amazing experiences. That's all. That's why I have money. I want to skip the queue and have amazing experiences.
Yeah.
So I'll always pay to get to a front of a line.
Yeah.
If it saves me 3 minutes.
Disney World with you.
Yeah. I always
get the fast pass.
Yeah. Well, that's the first thing you should do. I mean, it's an investment, right?
Yeah.
And it's like if you're going to take your family and your kids, and I know a lot of people save all year and save a lot of money to do this, save a little bit more because the experience that you have when you get there would just be like, oh my God, I could do Harry Potter 4 times and they didn't even get to do it once yet.
Yeah.
It's like you pay for that experience, and the value that comes back to the value of money and the appreciation of money. Yeah, people see money as taboo.
Yeah, I love money. No, I love money. I love talking about money.
Let's be without it. Let's be honest.
But I think, especially women again in the room, I think it is that taboo thing. And it's like I always say, I remember reading Louise Hay. My relationship with money changed. I mean, I was a little girl, grew up in poverty, basically, government welfare. Mum had to offer, my stepdad was a horrible man, abusive, would, not work. So we were on, the benefit thing. Yep. 5 kids, 2 adults, just chaos. But so I, first of all, was like, well, I'd never want to, it wasn't like, it's 2 paths. It's like, well, you're either going to take that on and go, well, that's my destiny, or go, I just never want that. I never want that. But little things along the way, I remember reading Louise Hay's books about bless your bills. I've always had this beautiful relationship. I'm grateful for bills. I'm like, well, an electricity company has gifted me electricity for 30 days, not knowing if I can pay it. So when my bill comes, I'm grateful for that bill because I'm like, well, because yes, we earn money, but it's like, well, I can pay my bill. There's just little things like that around money, but people do, it's like, oh, they talk about money. It's like,
it's a money mindset that I think the biggest thing that people can block or bust through first is their capacity of what they potentially think that they could be earning. Once that changes, everything else around it changes. Yeah. Your taste in wine changes.
Yeah. Well, right? We would say you go from ordering from the right-hand side of the menu, so what cost, to what you just want, to the left-hand side of the column. That's, But I want to unpack that on a whole other podcast. We're going to get you back.
Sure.
100%.
Absolutely.
All right, leave us with something that... Being a boss entrepreneur in 2020, what is one thing that people should focus on leaving this podcast to take into their lives?
Well, they should focus on how committed are you to actually doing what you're doing. I can't sort of steer off that. I think you need to recheck your commitment levels, and do you have what it takes to continue the rest of the year, in that specific thing, or use the time right now that is wise for you to be able to go and change your path or change your direction, because man, you could do 20 or 30 different things in your life. You don't have to do just one thing for your whole life. We sort of come from this era where it's like you have one husband or you have one wife, you have your white picket fence, you have your 1.5 dogs,
40-year factory job,
40-year exactly. So it's like change isn't a big thing, but we're now living in the world where there's been the fastest rate of change that you could ever think of. Same thing applies with your career. Same thing applies with what you're doing on a daily basis to generate revenue.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, take advantage of what governments are offering, even from business loans. Like if you ever wanted to start a business, man, now's your time. Go and get a real low interest rate business loan.
Yeah, kick it off.
Go and find people out there who actually have money and want to invest in businesses.
Yeah.
Hey, if you have a really good idea, reach out to me. I'm looking to invest in businesses.
There you go.
You know, but there's more opportunities out there than what people think. You know, sort of let's not focus on the distress and everything that's
100%.
happening, which is it's real. We have to be okay with that and understand that, but jump out of that for a moment and recalibrate where you're, that, especially the next 12 months.
Yeah. So that's good advice. And I think especially for young people, I know, like I don't really can't call myself a young person anymore, but I'm talking about people at 18, 19, 20. They're coming out of like school or maybe into university and they're looking at like the cost of housing and all this sort of stuff, right? And I think, Gen X and the boomers have fucked the economy. I'm never ever going to be able to get ahead and have what my parents had, which is just, it's bullshit because there's opportunities everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're looking for them.
Yeah.
I think 2020 is the 100% the year of pure clarity, 2020 vision, ripping your life apart, putting it back together in a way that feels really good for you and wild success. And
It's like
have a business idea,
a soft reset on the economy.
go find Brett.
Yeah, hit him up.
Yeah,
All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming in. It was a great chat. It's great to have actually someone here with us in the podcast too.
Pleasure.
Studio. So we'll hopefully get you back sometime soon. Come back and do yours. We did Brett's podcast the other week. That's online as well. So
Yes,
that was good fun.
the Brett Campbell Show. We'll put
Put it all.
how to find him, all the things in the show notes. But thank
I'll
you
be
so
in
much,
Magic
Brett.
Bar out on the farm.
Yeah,
See if I get it.
Bye.
Awesome.
We'll come on the helicopter.
All right. Thanks,
Bye.
mate.